All right, Gods of Egypt is a 2016 movie that just came out this week, to a $150 million budget. It Let's just say it's the story of um, Egyptian mythology
Yeah.
about. We were first introduced by the characters by a monologue,
Yeah.
like a crappy narration. Let's just say
Yeah.
that, and what is it? You can
So,
explain it if you want. Yeah, it's
so
easier.
in the movie, it's explained that how this is how all these gods are related. There's the main god Ra,
Mm-hmm.
who's the god of the sun,
Zoom,
has
yeah.
two sons, Set and Osiris.
Mm-hmm.
Osiris has a son named Horus. Okay, those are the four main gods that you're introduced throughout this whole movie.
Which you
Which
said is completely
is
wrong. If you want to explain,
the names are right.
Yeah, yeah.
The way they're set up is not necessarily right.
Right. Mm-hmm.
In Egyptian mythology, it's still Ra, god of the sun.
Huh.
He has a son named Horus, who's the god of the sky.
Mhm.
Not his grandson, his son. And then there's just Osiris and Set. They're not related in a sense. Osiris in the movie is a god of like the living and like.
He doesn't really explain what he's actually a god of.
Yeah, he's kind of like he's just the god of the living.
He's god of an area. Let's just say he's god of the city.
Yeah, king of like, no, the land and where people live and
peace and prosperity.
Yeah. And his brother Set is the god of the desert. In Egyptian mythology, Osiris is the god of what you I guess would say the underworld, but his main thing is he helps spirits cross over.
Uh-huh.
Until they get to obviously Anubis, who leads them through supposedly the 9 gates, and then up into their
what would we say?
Side,
no, it's purgatory.
In a sense, yeah.
But it's like their payment to the gods.
In Egyptian, their whole thing was, if you were buried with your wealth, it would help you determine which side you'd go to, as in like our heaven or our hell.
The more rich you are, the better you would.
Yeah, the more wealthy you were obviously had an easier access into our what you would say our modern day heaven would be.
If you're a slave.
If you were a slave, you would not necessarily go to hell. You would just have a longer time in purgatory.
Yeah.
Until you got to I guess until you waited your time out to get there. And this one is more like if you didn't have enough money, you were immediately sent to the underworld.
Mm-hmm.
And
let's just say these are like the differences between the mythology. When we go into the actual storyline, it is completely different. Yeah. Like the storyline is completely different in this one.
Let's just
I'll just give it a little spoiler warning because we're gonna go in depth.
Yeah.
So you guys don't have to watch this movie. Please don't watch this movie. We'll go. Just explain the actual like plot of it, which the actual plot of it is basically simple. Well, I'll just explain the actual like main plot for right now, the simple plot. There's two brothers. One rules one side of Egypt, which is the wealthy kind of city like, and the other one rules the wasteland,
the
desert. So of course, when it comes to the grandson is getting crowned to be the actual king. Gerard Butler comes in and no, I deserve it. The king kills him, and then the rest of the movie is just a revenge thing.
So kills his brother, exiles his nephew, and now is this ruthless king dictator.
And of course, now he has to get revenge.
He didn't really get revenge, but he
wants revenge. He wants vengeance or something like that.
He wants to be like this all-powerful god to prove to his father that.
No, I meant Horus. That's what I meant by revenge.
Horus.
Yeah. The rest of the movie follows him.
Yeah. Horus is just
going back to that, you said that
revenge thing because obviously Set killed his father.
Yeah.
And then Set's whole plan is he wants to be this ultimate god to impress his dad and say that I was actually the better son, so I should not be king of the desert, and
I'm better than you. Basically.
And another thing is that for some reason Osiris is able to have a son, obviously, and for some reason Set is not allowed to have kids. Like he's just his father made him unable to have kids.
Which makes no sense, but okay.
His reason behind it was, because Ra wanted him to take over his job, and which I don't get. You're supposed to be a god. You're supposed to live for eternity.
Eternity, yeah.
And
why are they old?
Yeah. So Ra wanted him to take over, like Set to take over for him as the god of the sun, and didn't allow him to bear children because if you're up in the sky, it's the constant thing that you're missing your kids. So it's supposed to be like, I won't allow you to have any kids, so you won't miss them.
Now the thing is, the stupid part about it is that like, it doesn't. The whole movie never explains like what this guy's powers is. Like his powers always change throughout the whole movie. And how does Ra able to not like? It doesn't never explains why Ra is able to basically be God, right? And it will explain why later that he actually dies in the movie or some weird strange thing. But they never explain their like actual powers. And how does Ra able to like not be like, oh, you can't have kids, but you can, you can.
Well, he's supposed to be the one and all powerful God. So I'm like, I get that, but
you kind of. But then later on, you will explain why it doesn't make sense that he's all powerful. It doesn't.
So Set obviously can't bear kids, so he wants to be this ultimate god, and in doing
ultimately,
well, when he kills his brother Osiris, there's like 20 gods standing here for like this inauguration of his son.
They don't do nothing. They just stand there like sissies.
They don't do anything. There's 20 gods, and somehow Set is able to influence all of them
convince them. Yeah.
If they go against him, he'll kill them, even though there's 20 of them.
20 of them.
Because he's like one of the original.
No, remember the dude, the boar-headed dude growled at them. That's why, Shane.
Oh,
you didn't get that. There's another god. But he's not a god.
He would be more like a titan.
So yeah, the thing that makes sense.
No, he is a god technically because he.
Yeah.
In the monologue, they say that gods they bleed gold, and when you see some of these gods die, they obviously they bleed gold. And
when that actual character dies, he bleeds gold, but they never refer to him as a god.
No.
So is he a titan? Like there's so much inconsistencies in the actual storyline. So then so we're actually introduced to a character, a mortal, that's going to the inaugurate. Let's call it inauguration of the son. I mean the grandson to king, right?
Yeah.
So when he actually goes there, he goes there with his wife. You meet his wife, which actually he's about to get married, so it's not actually his wife. It's actually his fiance for some reason, and they never get married in the movie. First of all, that's just one inconsistency. Yeah. So they get to the inauguration, and of course, it gets down to it where
his whole thing is he didn't want to go to this inauguration because he does not worship the gods.
Mm-hmm.
He just doesn't think they help him out, and no matter how much he prays to him, that they never did anything for him.
How do you pray to somebody when he's standing right there? First of all, let's just make that.
It's more. Well, that doesn't make sense. But his whole thing was just like, if it was like real Egyptian mythology, he would pray to them because obviously he can't see them.
Yeah, because the kings.
In this one, it's more like, you don't do anything for me, so I don't like you, so I'm not gonna praise you. He says worship, but it's like more should be like I don't praise you.
But then he says I pray to you. It just the inconsistencies across the board. It's like the real life thing. Obviously, we didn't have gods, and we know that we didn't have gods and all this down here when the thing is that kings were referred to as gods in the real one. So in the real one, it should be
pharaohs were first of all, Egyptian kings were called pharaohs.
Yeah, pharaohs.
Throughout
not
this
kings.
Whole movie, they referred to them as kings. But yeah, they were believed that they were their direct descendants, the mortal descendants of a god.
Yeah. Yeah.
So like the pyramids of Giza, a lot of those pharaohs built those pyramids because
they believed they were a god.
Yeah, they believed the higher they were, closer to the gods, because they were part god.
And the only reason the ones were smaller is because they ran out of a budget. Actually, they started running out of slaves, which now in this one, when he comes into power, Gerard Butler comes into power, he randomly influences slaves. So that's how slaves are actually become slaves.
That's how you're introduced to the slaves of Egypt, and how Egypt had all these slaves is because Set
created them
well
somehow, like made slaves.
made slaves of his own people.